Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to the second book narration of our SysComp book club, Project Management Book Club. The first book we narrated here was Power and Politics by Jeffrey K. Pinto, and this time we are taking up a exciting new journey on a very new book, which is Choose Your WoW, a disciplined agile delivery handbook for optimizing your way of working. This is by PMI, Disciplined Agile. Disciplined Agile has been acquired by PMI. Previously, this book used to be there from Disciplined Agile. Now it is the property of PMI. It was written by Scott W. Ambler and Mark Lyons. And the foreword was written by Jonathan Smart. And I am narrating this. My name is Suhail Iqbal. So I will be your narrator for today. So let's see what's up for us. This is version 1.1, just published in 2020 from Project Management Institute this year. Let us read out the foreword by Jonathan Smart. It starts with a quotation. All models are wrong, but some are useful. By 1978. You are special. You are a beautiful and unique snowflake. So are your family, your friends, your communities, your team, your peers, your colleagues, your business area, your organization. No other organization has the same collection of people, the same behavioral norms, the same processes, the same current state, the same impediments, the same customers, the same brand, the same values, the same history, the same folklore, the same identity, the same this is the way we do things around here, as yours does. Your organization's behavior is emergent. The whole is greater than the sum of the parts. The whole has unique properties that the individuals don't have. Acting in the space changes the space. Individual and collective behaviors mutate and self-organize on a change initiating event. Interventions are irreversible. Like adding milk to coffee. The system changes. People don't forget what happened and what the outcome was. The system learns. Next time, the response to the change event will be different, either for the better or for the worse, reflecting what happened last time and based on incentivization. Not only are your contexts unique, they are constantly changing and changing how they change. With this uniqueness, emergence, adaptation, it is not possible to have one set of practices which will optimize outcomes for every context. One set of practices might improve outcomes for one context at one point in time. Over time, as the system changes with new impediments and new enablers, it will no longer be optimal. One size does not fit all. There is no snake oil to cure all ills. Your organization has tens, hundreds, or thousands of contexts within contexts, each one unique. Applying one size fits all across many contexts may raise some boats. However, it will sink other boats and hold back many more boats from rising. How practices are adopted is also important. Not only what the practices are for lasting improvement and to apply an agile mindset to agility, the locus of control needs to be internal. People need to have autonomy and empowerment within guardrails to be able to experiment in order to improve on desired outcomes. High alignment and high autonomy are both needed, not an imposition top down, which is disempowering, with a locus of control being external. With imposition, people will not take responsibility for what happens and will knowingly do things what are detrimental, a behavior known as agentic state. Disciplined agile DA is designed to cater to these realities. The characteristic of uniqueness, emergence, and adoption. Disciplined Agile provides guide rails, guidance, and enterprise awareness. It is unique in this regard. It provides a common vocabulary, minimal viable guide rails, which in turn enables empowerment and autonomy for teams and teams of teams to improve on their outcomes how they see fit. With an internal locus of control, not everyone should follow a mandated, synchronized, iteration based approach. For example, in my experience, in a large organization with more than one context, synchronized iterations suit one context. For example, many teams on one product with a low level of mastery with dependencies which have not been removed are alleviated and do not suit 99 other contexts. It is not applying an agile mindset to agility. Some business areas are better off adopting a Kanban approach from the beginning, especially if there is a pathological culture where messengers are short. Evolution over revolution stands a chance of progress. Revolution with struggle, with a lack of psychological safety, the antibodies will be strong. Some business areas with people who have been working this way in islands of agility for 20 plus years and with psychological safety may choose to make to take a more revolutionary approach. As the soil is more fertile, people are more willing and failed experiments are viewed positively. Disciplined agile enables a heterogeneous, not homogeneous approach across diverse, complex organizations. It includes principles of choice is good, context counts, and enterprise awareness. It enables the discipline that organizations need while not forcing round pegs into square holes. It provides a common vocabulary and with the process goals, it provides options to consider in your unique context with varying levels of mastery. This requires people to think rather than follow orders, to take ownership and experiment to achieve specific outcomes, not pursue agile for agile's sake. This is harder than following prescription or following a diktat. diktat. It requires servant leadership and coaching in the same way as learning to drive, ski, play a musical instrument, or play in an orchestra or a team sport. As one size does not fit all, as there is no prescription, for example, it is a fallacy to copy the Spotify model from firm wide, which even Spotify says is not a Spotify model. This context sensitive invitation over imposition approach leads to better outcomes and is more likely to stick as it has come from within. The locus of control is internal and it is owned. There is no one else to blame and no one artificially keeping the elastic band stretched. It starts to build a muscle of continuous improvement. Within disciplined agile, if teams choose to adopt Scrum, a Scrum scaled pattern such as less, safe, Nexus, or Scrum or at scale, or adopt an evolutionary pull-based limited work in progress approach with a view that it will optimize outcomes in their unique context, they are free to do so. All frameworks, not no frameworks, are one framework. Across an organization, disciplined agile provides the minimal viable commonality as well as guidance which is needed for anything other than the simplest of forms. The job you are hiring recipient Agile to do is to enable context-sensitive, heterogeneous approaches to agility, which will maximize outcomes organization-wide. As with everything, treat it as a departure point, not a destination. As your organization-wide level of mastery increases, keep on inspecting and adapting. The book, this book is an indispensable guide for those looking to optimize ways of working in heterogeneous organizations. Jonathan Smart, Enterprise Agility Lead, Deloitte, former head of Ways of Working, Barclays. Let's move on to preface. Software development is incredibly straightforward, and if we may be so bold, it is very likely the simplest endeavor in modern organizations. It requires very little technical skill at all, requires little to no collaboration on the part of developers, and is mundane and repetitive that anyone can create software by following a simple, repeatable process. The handful of software development techniques were established and agreed to decades ago, are easily learned in only a few days, and are both well accepted and well known by all software practitioners. Our stakeholders can clearly communicate their needs early in the life cycle and are readily available and eager to work with us. Never change their minds. The software and data sources created in the past are high quality, easy to understand, and to evolve, and come with fully automated regression test suites and high quality supporting documentation. Software development teams always have complete control of their destiny and are supported by effective corporate governance, procurement, and financing practices that reflect and enable the realities we face. And of course, it is easy to hire and retain talented software developers. Sadly, very little, if anything, in the previous paragraph is even remotely similar to the situation faced by your organization today. Software development is complex. The environments in which software developers work is complex. The technologies they work with are complex and constantly changing. And the problems that we are asked to solve are complex and evolving. It is time to embrace this complexity, to accept the situation that we face, and to choose to deal with it head on. Why you need to read this book? One of the agile principles is that a team should regularly reflect and strive to improve their strategy. One way to do that is the sailboat retrospective game, where we ask, what are the anchors holding us back? What rocks or storms should we watch out for? What is the wind in our sails that will propel us to success? So let's play this game. For the current state of agile product development in the context of someone, presumably you, who is hoping to help their team choose and evolve their way of working. Wow. First, there are several things that are potentially holding us back. Number one, product development is complex. As IT professionals, we get paid a lot of money because what we do is complex. Our WoW must address how to approach requirements, architecture, testing, design, programming, management, deployment, governance, and many other aspects of software product development in a myriad of ways. And it must describe how to do this throughout the entire life cycle from beginning to end, and also address the unique situation that our team faces in many ways. This book holds up a mirror to the complexities faced by software developers and provides a flexible, context sensitive toolkit to deal with it. Agile Industrial Complex, AIC. Martin Fowler, in a conference keynote in Melbourne in August 2018, coined the phrase Agile Industrial Complex. He argued that we are Now, in the era of AIC, with prescriptive, prescriptive frameworks being routinely imposed upon teams as well as upon the entire organization, presumably to provide management with a modicum of control over this crazy agile stuff. In such environments, a set of processes defined by the chosen framework will now be deployed. Whether it makes sense for your team or not, we are deploying this. You will like it, you will own it, but don't dream of trying to change to or improve it because management is hoping to limit the variability of team processes. As Senfin advises, you can't solve a complex problem by applying a simple solution. 3. Agile growth greatly exceeded the supply of experienced coaches. Although there are some great agile coaches out there, unfortunately, their numbers are insufficient to address the demand. Effective coaches have great people skills and years of experience, not days of training in the topic that they are coaching you in. In many organizations, we find coaches who are effectively learning on the job, in many ways similar to college professors who are reading one chapter ahead of their class, their students. They can address the straightforward problem but struggle with anything too far beyond what the AIC processes inflicted upon them deem to address. There are also several things to watch out for that could cause us to run aground. False promises. You may have heard agile coaches claim to achieve 10 times productivity increases through adoption of agile, yet are unable to provide any metrics to back up these claims. Or perhaps you have read a book that claims in its title that Scrum enables you to do twice the work in half the time. Sutherland. Yet the reality is that organizations are seeing, on average, closer to 7 to 12% improvement on small teams and 3 to 5% improvement on teams working at scale. More silver bullets. How do you kill a werewolf? A single shot with a silver bullet? In the mid 1980s, Fred Brook taught us that there is no single change that you can make in the software development space, no technology that you can buy, no process you can adopt, no tool you can install that will give you the order of magnitude productivity improvements that you are likely hoping for. In other words, there is no silver bullet for software development, regardless of the promises of the schemes where you become a certified master after 2 days of training, a program consultant after 4 days of training, or any other quick fix promises. What you do need are skills, knowledgeable, and hopefully experienced people working together effectively. Process populism. We often run into organizations where leadership's decision-making process when it comes to software process boils down to ask an industry analyst from what's popular or what are my competitors adopting, rather than what is the best fit for our situation. Process populism is fed by false promises, and leaderships hope to find a silver bullet to the very significant challenges that they face around improving their organization's processes. Most agile methods are frameworks are prescriptive, regardless of their marketing claims. When you are given a handful of techniques out of the thousands that exist and not given explicit options for tailoring these techniques, that's pretty much as prescriptive as it gets. We appreciate that many people just want to be told what to do, but unless that method framework actually addresses the real problem that you face, then adopting it likely isn't going to do much to help the situation. Luckily, there are several things that are the winds in our sails that propel you to read this book. It embraces your uniqueness. This book recognizes that your team is unique and faces a unique situation. No more false promises of a one size fit all process that requires significant and risky disruption to adopt. It embraces the complexity you face. This book effectively holds up a mirror to the inherent complexities of solution delivery and present an accessible representation to help guide your process improvement efforts. No more simplistic silver bullet methods are process frameworks that gloss over the myriad of challenges your organization faces. Because to do so wouldn't fit in well with the certification training they are hoping to sell you. It provides explicit choices. This book provides the tools you need to make better process decisions that in turn will lead to better outcomes. In short, it enables your team to own their own process, to choose their way of working that reflects the overall direction of your organization. This book represents a proven strategy for guided continuous improvement, GCI, a team-based process improvement strategy rather than naive adoption of populist process. It provides agonistic advice. This book isn't limited to the advice of a single framework or method, nor is it limited to agile or lean. Our philosophy is to look for great ideas regardless of their source and to recognize that there are no best practices nor worst practices. When we learn a new technique, we strive to understand what its strengths and weaknesses are and in what situation to not apply it. In our training, we often get comments like, I wish I knew this 5 years ago. I wish my Scrum coaches knew this now. Or going into this workshop, I thought I knew everything about agile development. Boy, I was wrong. We suspect you are going to feel the exactly same way about this book. How this book is organized. This book is organized in 6 sections. Number 1, Disciplined Agile Delivery, DAD, in a nutshell. This section works through fundamental strategies to choose and evolve your way of working WoW. And the Disciplined Agile Mindset overviews DAD, describes typical roles and responsibility of people on DAD teams, describes a process goal, outcome driven approach that makes your process choices explicit, shows how DAD supports several life cycles that share a common governance strategy. Second, successfully initiating your team. This section is a reference lookup for agile, lean, and sometimes traditional techniques for initiating a solution delivery team project in a streamlined manner. The trade-offs of each technique are summarized so that your team can choose the most appropriate techniques that you can handle given the situation that you face. Better decisions lead to better outcomes. Number 3, producing business value. Similar to section 2, this is also a reference lookup describing a large collection of techniques available to you that are focused on construction of a software-based product solution. Number 4, releasing into production. You guessed it. This is a reference lookup for techniques for successfully releasing your solution into production or the marketplace. Number 5, sustaining and enhancing your team. This section is a reference lookup for techniques that are applicable throughout the entire life cycle, such as strategies to support the personal growth of team members, strategies to coordinate both within your team and with other teams, and strategies to evolve your WoW as you learn over time. Parting thoughts and back matter, that is 6. A few parting thoughts, an appendix describing the rest of the DA toolkit, an appendix describing a respectable certification strategy for DA practitioners, a list of abbreviations, references, and an index. So, how to read this book? Read the first section in its entirety as it describes the fundamental concepts of guided continuous improvement GCI and DAD portion of the disciplined Agile toolkit. Then use the rest of the book as a reference handbook to help inform your efforts in choosing and evolving your WoW. Section 2-5, 2 to 5, overview hundreds of techniques and more importantly, describe when you should consider using them and thereby will prove to be an invaluable reference for your improvement efforts. Who this book is for? This book is for people who want to improve their team's way of working. Wow. It is for people who are willing to think outside of the agile box and experiment with new wows regardless of their agile purity. It's for people who realize that context counts, that everyone faces a unique situation and will work in their own unique way, and that one process does not fit all. It's for people who realize that although they are in a unique situation, others have faced similar situations before and have figured out a variety of strategies that you can adopt and tailor. You can reuse the process learning of others and thereby invest your energies into adding critical business value to your organization. Our aim in writing this book is to provide a comprehensive reference for disciplined agile delivery DAD. It is a replacement of our first DAD book, which was called Disciplined Agile Delivery, a practitioner guide to agile software delivery in the enterprise, which was published in 2012. DAD has evolved considerably since then, so it is time for an update. Here it is. Some acknowledgements. We would like to thank Beverly Ambler, Joshua Barnes, Klaus Botker, Kyron Bondale, Tom Bollett, Paul Corvello, Chris Celsi, Daniel Cognon, Brennan Govender, John Gustafson, Michelle Harrison, Michael Cogan, Catherine Lyons, Louis Lyons, Glenn Little, Valentin Tudor, Mokono, Magic Mordaka, Charlie Mott, Jerry Nicholas, Edson Portillo, Simon Powers, Aldo Rawl, Frank Fusen, Al Shalloway, David Shapiro, Paul Sims, Jonathan Smart, Rolly Stimson, Klaus Van Gent, Abhishek Vernal, and Jaco Viljan for all of their input, hard work that they invested to help us write this book. We couldn't have done it without you. Showing you the content, forward, preface we have already covered. Section 1 starts from page 1. It talks about disciplined agile delivery in a nutshell. It consists of 6 chapters: choosing your WoW, being disciplined, disciplined agile delivery in a nutshell, roles, rights and responsibilities, process goals, choosing the right life cycle. Section 2 is successfully initiating your team. It includes 7th chapter, form team, 8th chapter, align with enterprise direction, 9, explore scope, 10, identify architectural strategy, 11, plan the release, 12, develop test strategy, 13, develop common vision, and 14, secure funding. There are 8 chapters. Section number 3, producing business value. It has 5 chapters. Chapter 15 is prove architecture early. Chapter 16, address changing stakeholder needs. 17, produce a potentially consumable solution. 18, improve quality. 19, accelerate value delivery. Section 4 is about releasing into production. 2 chapters. 20th chapter is ensure production readiness. 21st chapter, deploy the solution. Section 5, sustaining and enhancing your team. 6 chapters. Chapter 22, grow team members. Chapter 23, coordinate activities. 24, evolve way of working WoW. 25, address risk. 26, leveraging and enhancing existing infrastructure. And 27, govern delivery team. Section 6 is parting thoughts and back matter, which includes one chapter that is disciplined success. And after that, we have got appendix on disciplined agile certification, references and additional resources, acronyms and abbreviations, index, and about the authors is the last topic. So let's move on to section 1, disciplined agile delivery, DAD in a nutshell. This section is organized into following chapters. As I told you earlier, chapter 1, choosing your WoW. This is the overview of how to apply this book. Chapter 2, being disciplined, values, principles, and philosophies for disciplined agilists. Chapter 3, disciplined agile delivery in a nutshell, an overview of DAD. Chapter 4, roles, rights, and responsibilities. It is for individuals and their interactions. Chapter 5, process goals. How to focus on process outcomes rather than conform to process prescriptions. Chapter 6, choosing the right life cycle. How teams can work in unique ways yet still be governed consistently. So here we are. Chapter 1, choosing your WoW. We have a quotation here from Bear Grylls. A man's pride can be his downfall, and he needs to learn when to turn to others for support and guidance. This is Bear Grylls. Welcome to Choose Your WoW, the book about how agile software development teams, are more accurately agile lean solution delivery teams, can choose their WoW. This chapter describes some fundamental concepts around why choosing your WoW is important, fundamental strategies for how to do it, and how this book can help you to become effective at it. Before moving forward, I would like to have a quick review of the key points in this chapter. So key points in this chapter are: disciplined agile delivery teams have the autonomy to choose their way of working. Wow. You need to both be agile and know how to do agile. Software development is complicated. There is no easy answer for how to do it. Disciplined Agile DA provides the scaffolding, a toolkit of agnostic advice to choose your WoW. Other people have faced and overcome similar challenges to yours. DA enables you to leverage their learnings. You can use this book to guide how to initially choose your WoW and then evolve it over time. The real goal is to effectively achieve desired organizational outcomes, not to be too agile. Better decisions lead to better outcomes. Back to the chapter. Why should teams choose their WoW? Agile teams are commonly told to own their process, to choose their WoW. This is very good advice for several reasons. Context counts. People and teams will work differently depending on the context of their situation. Every person is unique, every team is unique, and every team finds itself in a unique situation. A team of 5 people will work differently than a team of 20, then a team of 50. A team is a life critical regulatory situation will work differently than a team in a non-regulatory situation. Our team will work differently than your team because we are different people with our own unique skill sets, preferences, and backgrounds. Choice is good. To be effective, a team must be able to choose the practices and strategies to address the situation that they face. The implication is that they need to know what these choices are, what the trade offs are of each, and when not to apply each one. In other words, they either need to have a deep background in software process, something that few people have, or have a good guide to help them make these process related choices. Luckily, this book is a very good guide. We should optimize flow. We want to be effective in ways that we work, and ideally to delight our customers, stakeholders. In doing so, to do this, we need to optimize the workflow within our team and in how we collaborate with other teams across the organization. We want to be awesome. Who won't want to be awesome at what they do? Who won't want to work on an awesome team or for an awesome organization? A significant part of being awesome is to enable teams to choose their wow and to allow them to constantly experiment to identify even better ways they can work. In short, we believe that it's time to take back Agile. Martin Fowler recently coined the term Agile Industrial Complex to refer to the observation that many teams are following a Fox Agile strategy, sometimes called Agile in name only, AINO. This is often the result of organizations adopting a prescriptive framework such as SAFe and then forcing teams to adopt it regardless of whether it actually makes sense to do so. And it rarely does. Are forcing teams to follow an organizational standard application of Scrum, yet canonical Agile is very clear. It's individuals and interactions over processes and tools. Teams should be allowed and better yet supported to choose and then evolve their work. You need to be agile and know how to do agile. Scott's daughter, Olivia, is 10 years old. She and her friends are some of the most agile people we have ever met. They are respectful as much as 10-year-old children can be. They are open minded, they are collaborative, they are eager to learn, they are always experimenting. They clearly embrace an agile mindset. Yet, if we were to ask them to develop software, it would be a disaster. Why? Because they don't have the skills. They could gain these skills in time, but right now they just don't know what they are doing when it comes to software development. We have also seen teams made up of millennials who collaborate very naturally and have the skills to develop solutions, although perhaps are not yet sufficiently experienced to understand the enterprise class implications of their work. And of course, we have seen teams of developers with decades of IT experience but very little experience doing so collaboratively. None of these situations are ideal. Our point is that it's absolutely critical to have an agile mindset. To be agile, but you also need to have the requisite skills to do agile and the experience to do enterprise agile. An important aspect of this book is that it comprehensively addresses the potential skills required by agile lean teams to succeed. The real goal is to effectively achieve desired organizational outcomes, not to be too agile. What good is it to be working in an agile manner if you are producing the wrong things, are producing something you already have, are producing something that doesn't fit into the overall direction of your organization? Our real focus must be on achieving the outcomes that will make our organization successful, and becoming more effective in our WoW will help us to do that. Except that there is no easy answer. Software development, or more accurately, solution delivery, is complex. You need to be able to initiate a team, produce a solution that meets the needs of your stakeholders, and then successfully release it to them. You need to know how to explore their needs, architect and design a solution, develop that solution, validate it, deploy it. This must be done within the context of your organization using a collection of technologies that are evolving and for a wide variety of business needs. And you are doing this with teams of people with different backgrounds, different preferences, different experiences, different career goals, and they may report to a different group or even a different organization than you do. We believe in embracing this complexity because it's the only way to be effective, and better yet, to be awesome. When we ignore important aspects of our WoW, say architecture, for example, we tend to make painful mistakes in that area. When we denigrate aspects of our WoW, such as governance perhaps, because we have had bad experiences in the past with not so agile governance, then we risk people outside of our team taking responsibility for that aspect and inflicting their non-agile practices upon us. In this way, rather than enabling our agility, they act as impediments. We can benefit from the learnings of others. A common mistake that teams make is that they believe that just because they face a unique situation, that they need to figure out their wow from scratch. Nothing could be further from the truth. When you develop a new application, do you develop a new language, a new compiler, a new code libraries, and so on from scratch? Of course not. You adopt the existing things that are out there, combine them in a unique way, and then modify them as needed. Development teams, regardless of technology, utilize proven frameworks and libraries to improve productivity and quality. It should be the same thing with process. As you can see in this book, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of practices and strategies out there that have been proven in practice by thousands of teams before you. You don't need to start from scratch, but instead can develop your wow by combining existing practices and strategies and then modifying them appropriately to address the situation at hand. DA provides the toolkit to guide you through this in a streamlined and accessible manner. Since our first book on DAD, Amber Lines 2012, we have received feedback that while it is seen as an extremely rich collection of strategies and practices, practitioners sometimes struggle to understand how to reference the strategies and apply them. One of the goals of this book is to make DAD more accessible so that you can easily find what you need to customize your WoW. One thing that you will notice throughout the book is that we provide a lot of references. We do this for three reasons. First, to give credit where credit is due. Second, to let you know where you can go for further details. And third, to enable us to focus on summarizing the various techniques and put them into context, rather than going into the details of every single one. The goal is to make you aware of what techniques are available and the trade-offs of each based on context. You can then find other detailed information on how to apply a technique elsewhere. For example, we will identify and compare test-driven development to test after development as potential technique to experiment with. Then you can do further research into your chosen option. Here is our approach to references. W. This indicates that there is Wikipedia page for the concept at wikipedia.org. Wikipedia is an online, open content, collaborative encyclopedia that allows anyone to alter its content. With the absence of peer review and validation of content, PMI cannot ensure that the information available in is complete, accurate, reliable, or corresponds with the current state of knowledge in the relevant fields. Having said that, many of these pages could use some work. Wikipedia pages cited on this book can be located in the additional resources section at the end of this book. Our hope is that readers such as yourself will set up and help to evolve these pages so as to share our expertise with the rest of the world. Meaningful name. There is a corresponding entry in the references at the back of the book this is an indication that either we couldn't find an appropriate Wikipedia page or that we have a detailed source on the subject already. Either way, we really like to see Wikipedia pages developed for this topic. So please consider starting one if you are knowledgeable about that topic. Also feel free to reach out to us, as we would be happy to donate appropriate material to help seed the effort. W and meaningful name. This indicates Wikipedia has a good page, plus there are few more resources that we recommend. Please consider updating the Wikipedia page. No reference. With a technique is a practice such as TDD, we can often find a solid reference for it. When the technique is a strategy such as test programming, then it's difficult to find a reference for it. So please consider writing a blog about that strategy that we would refer to in the future. DA knowledge makes you a far more valuable team member. We have heard from DA organizations, and they permit us to quote them, that team members who have invested in learning DA and proving it through challenging certifications become more valuable contributors. The reason to us is quite clear. Understanding a larger library of proven strategies means that team will make better decisions and fail far less, and rather learn and succeed earlier. A lack of collective self-awareness of the available options is a common source of teams struggling to meet their agility expectations. And that is exactly what happens when you adopt prescriptive methods, frameworks that don't provide you with choices. Every team member, especially consultants, are expected to bring a toolkit of ideas to customize the team's process as part of self-organization. A larger toolkit and commonly understood terminology is a good thing. Here we have got a cartoon. Here a girl is saying we need a repeatable process for predictability. The man in the center says, actually, agile teams choose their wow. And man on the left, effectiveness is more important to us than false predictability. Disciplined Agile toolkit provides accessible guidance. One thing that we have learned over time is that some people, while they understand the concept of DA by either reading the books or attending a workshop, struggle with how to actually apply DA. DA is an extremely rich body of knowledge that is represented in an accessible manner. A good news is that the context of this book is organized by the goals, and that by using the goal-driven approach, it is easy to find the guidance that you need for the situation at hand. Here's how you can apply the toolkit in your daily work to be more effective in achieving your desired outcomes. Contextualized process reference, guided continuous improvement, GCI, process tailoring workshops, enhanced retrospectives, enhanced coaching, taking them one by one. Contextual process reference. As we described earlier, this book is meant to be a reference. You will find it handy to keep the book nearby to quickly reference available strategies when you face particular challenges. This book presents you with the process, choices, and more importantly, puts those choices into context. Disciplined Agile provides three levels of scaffolding to do this. One is life cycles, process groups, and third is practice strategies. Coming back to life cycles, at the highest level of WoW guidance are life cycles. The closest that DAD gets to the methodology, DAD supports 6 different life cycles, as you can see in figure 1.1, I'll show you later, to provide teams with the flexibility of choosing an approach that makes the most sense from them. Chapter 6 explores the life cycles and how to choose between them in greater detail. It also describes how teams can still be governed consistently even though they are working in different ways. Let us have a look at figure 1.1. This is figure 1.1, the DAD life cycle. It shows agile, continuous delivery, agile, then exploratory, then lean, continuous delivery, lean, and program. So this is figure 1.1 DAD life cycle. Going back, let's now talk about the process goals. Process goals again refers to figure 1.2, presents the goal diagram for the improved quality process goal, which is described in detail in chapter 18. And figure 1.3 overviews the notation of goal diagrams. I'll show you both of these diagrams a little later. DAD is described as a collection of 21 process goals or process outcomes, if you like. Each goal is described as a collection of decision points, issues that your team needs to determine whether they need to address, and if so, how they will do so. Potential practices, strategies for addressing a decision point, which can be combined in many cases, are presented in lists. Goal diagrams are similar conceptually to mind maps, albeit with the extension of the arrow to represent relative effectiveness of options in some cases. Goal diagrams are, in effect, straightforward guides to help a team to choose the best strategies and that they are capable of doing right now, given their skills, culture, and situation. Chapter 5 explores the goal-driven approach in greater detail. Let's move on to figure 2 and figure 3. Figure 2 is right now in front of you. To the improve quality process goal. It's just for example, it's shown one process goal. This is improve quality. We have improve implementation, improve deliverable documentation, improve deliverable format, and reuse enterprise assets. In improve implementation, we have refactor code, refactor database, refactor user interface, refactor test assets, accept technical debt, rewrite. In improved deliverable documentation, we have single source information, executable specifications, single purpose documents, multi-purpose documents. In improved deliverable format, we have apply concise template, write free-form documents, no templates, refactor away from templates, apply comprehensive template. In reuse enterprise assets, we have follow common guidelines, leverage common process assets, leverage existing experiences, learnings, leverage shared data sources, and leverage shared functionality. We also need to watch figure 1.3. So what does it show? It shows us a goal diagram notation. So a process goal leads to a decision point or another decision point. In first decision point, we have an ordered list of options in which an option that's more desirable strategy, another option good starting point, another good starting point, another option the least desirable strategy. Similarly, we can option for the other decision. So these were the two figures referred in the second heading. So let's move on to the third heading, that is practice strategies. At the most granular level of WoW guidance are practices and strategies depicted on goal diagrams in the list on the right hand side. Section 2 to 4 of this book explore each process goal in detail, one per chapter. Each of these chapters overviews the process goal and key concept behind the goal. Describe each decision point for the goal and then overview each practice strategy and the trade-offs associated with them in an agonistic manner. An important implication of goal diagram, such as the one in figure 1.2, this was 1.2, is that you need less process expertise to identify potential practices, strategies to try out. What you do need is an understanding of the fundamentals of DAD, the focus of section 1 of this book, and familiarity with the goal diagram so that you can quickly locate potential options. You do not need to memorize all of your available options because they can look them up. You can look them up, and you don't need to have deep knowledge of each option because they are overviewed and put into context in the individual goal chapters. Rather, you can use this book to refer to DA when you need guidance to solve particular challenges that you face. Improvement occurs at many levels. Process improvement or WoW evolution occurs across your organization. Organizations are a collection of interacting teams and groups, each of which evolves continuously. As teams evolve their WoW, they motivate changes in the teams that they interact with. Because of this constant process evolution, hopefully for the better, and because people are unique, it becomes unpredictable how people are going to work together or what the result of that work will be. In short, your organization is a complex adaptive system, CAS. This concept is overviewed in Figure 1.4, which depicts teams, organization areas such as divisions, lines of business, or value streams, and enterprise teams. Figure 1.4 is a simplification. There are far more interactions between teams and across organizational boundaries, and in large enterprises, an organizational area may have its own enterprise groups, such as enterprise architecture or finance. The diagram is complicated enough as it is. There are several interesting implications for choosing your WoW. So let's first see figure 1.4. It shows us your organization is a complete adaptive system. Uh, Two organizational areas and one enterprise team. In enterprise team, we have got procurement, reuse, engineering, continuous improvement, enterprise architecture, finance, and others. Enterprise architecture is interacting with teams in organizational area, first one, and then finance is interacting with other organizational area as well as one of the team members from the first organizational area. Coming back, let me define each of these. There are several interesting implications of choosing your WoW. Every team will have a different WoW. We really can't say this enough. Number two, we will evolve our WoW to reflect learnings whenever we work with other teams. Not only do we accomplish whatever outcome we set to achieve by working with another team, we very often learn new techniques from them or new ways of collaborating with them that they must have picked up from working with other teams. Three, we can purposefully choose to learn from other teams. There are many strategies that we can choose to adopt within our organization to share learnings across team, including practitioner presentations, communities of practices, guides, coaching, and many others. Team level strategies are captured in the Evolve WoW process goal, that is in chapter 24, and organizational level strategies in the continuous improvement process blade. Uh, in short, the DA toolkit is a generative resource that you can apply in agonistically choosing your WoW. Number four, we can benefit from organizational transformation improvement efforts. Improvement can and should happen at the team level. It can also happen at the organizational area level. For example, we can work to optimize flow between the teams within an area. The improvement also needs to occur outside of DAD teams. For example, we can help the enterprise architecture, finance, people management groups to collaborate with the rest of the organization more effectively, as we have seen in figure 1.4. Figure 1.5 depicts discipline agile toolkit is organized into four levels. Foundation. The foundation Layer provides the conceptual underpinnings of DA toolkit. Disciplines, DevOps. DevOps is the streamlining of solution development and operations. Disciplined DevOps is an enterprise class approach to DevOps. This layer includes disciplined agile delivery, the focus of this book, plus other enterprise aspects of DevOps. Value stream. The value stream layer is based on Al Shalloway's Flex. It is not enough to be innovative in ideas if these ideas can't be realized in the marketplace or in the company. Flex is the glue that ties an organization's strategy in that it visualizes that an effective value stream looks like, enabling you to make decisions for improving each part of the organization within the context of whole. And then we have number 4, disciplined agile enterprise. The DAE layer focuses on the rest of the enterprise activities that support your organization's value stream. Teams, regardless of what level they operate at, can and should choose their WoW. Our focus in this book is on DAD teams, although at times we will delve into cross-team and organizational issues where appropriate. This is figure 1.5, the scope of discipline agile. Here you can see all of these various levels shown in separate segregations. I think we should call it a day, and we will start tomorrow from page 11. I tried my level best to cover as much material as possible, but probably this is the max I can do. So that's that. Let us see who are listening. We have got 5 people listening here. We have Arshad Mahmood, we have Joseph, we have Mohit Khan, we have Amar Bukhari and Sayyid Mujib. Any questions so far? Please raise your hand. I'm not really competent to answer those questions. Yes, we can discuss. Yes, Mr. Arshad. I'm sorry, your mic, yes. You have to unmute your mic to speak.
Sir, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Islam sir, am I audible? Sir, मेरी आवाज आ रही है sir?
जी बिल्कुल, you are very much audible, very much audible.
Sir, just I'll just try to take 1 minute of yours. Sir, इसमें एक term use हुई है CAS. वो मैं को miss कर गया हूँ, कुछ समझ नहीं सका कि CAS क्या चीज थी sir?
Okay, I think I have to go back and see what it was. I don't exactly remember what. Yeah, here it is. It was
This is it.
Complex adaptive system.
Sir. ठीक है, right sir. ठीक है, I'll just look at the book. मेरे ख्याल में ये I'd refer
page 10.
Page 10. Right sir, thank you very much. Thank you.
Most welcome. Anyone who wants to say anything? First of all, I would like to ask if my pace was okay with you. Were you able to make out what I am saying? Especially my question is directed to Joseph. What do you think? Yes, Joseph, any comments?
Yes, good evening. Yeah, it was. It's clear. It's clear. I was able to understand.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. If it is clear to you,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you very much. Anyone else? Any other comments? Please raise a hand and you can. Kamar sir. Yes, please, Kamar.
Sir, so far so good. Well, introduction बड़ा अच्छा था. Book काफी helpful है. Like I'm currently as a faculty, working as a faculty member in a university. So hopefully it will help me to like provide insight of project management in this way to the students.
Wonderful.
So far so good. Inshallah, next lecture में हम इसको further देखेंगे definitely.
We'll do better.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything from Sayyid Mojis?
Sir, I've been listening to you very carefully actually. There is a key point I have noted: Agile versus Kanban. I really don't know what it is, so you can give a quick overview. I will search it myself as well.
Kanban was here. It is basically a lean approach. Kanban is a lean approach. You see, this is lean. There are two lean things given here,
Sir,
and Kanban was mentioned somewhere earlier. But you see,
it
Kanban
was in the forward.
in the forward, right? So this is basically referring
Yeah,
to the lean way of working. We can do agile, we can do lean, we can do discipline, for so many other ways.
sir.
Uh, Almost everything is new for all of us, but we will collectively complete this book, 400 pages and 10 pages a day. 40 days it will take. So let's move on. Let's see. Okay. Any other questions or any other comments? Okay, then I think we should call it a day. It is nice to have you listening to me, and it's your patience that you can listen to whatever I am saying in whatever language I am. I'm a bit tired and my throat is also sore. Still, I'm speaking, so maybe somebody didn't understand that I was worried about. But anyways, if you are all happy, we can call it a day or night, whatever uh, place you are from. So take care and see you tomorrow, same time. Take care and thank you very much.